Suppose you went to a supermarket and Ivy disappeared, like maybe you can't find her. Where do you think you can find her in a supermarket?
The clothes section. Prayer changes things.
Wow.
Even where you feel this is our own making, God is so merciful. We take to him our mistakes and honestly talk to him about him and say, here I have failed. And he will pick it up and fix the mess.
You know, the maturity of a couple. By the time you're settling for some things, you should be able to be settled.
To be settled.
And maturity comes as you age, as you trust God for your marriage, as you fight over small things.
Yeah,
you know,
and get to understand
and
one
get to
another.
understand. And he tells you that, sweetheart, you're mine and mine alone.
This is Kingdom Conversation, a place where we talk about God. This is a place we encourage you. We give you real life stories. We do not present perfection to you, but we take you through the journey of becoming, the journey of finding your purpose.
God has called us in different areas of life. We will be looking at how we make it work so that we are not burnt out.
In our conversation, we are going to emphasize on those people who are meant to become and also to serve. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Kingdom Conversations, a place where we talk about marriage, we talk about how homes are growing, we talk about ministry, we talk about career, and we also talk about how on these three areas, we also talk about the things that are working for us and things that are not working for us. And we also try to align all this to biblical principles. So today I am joined by a couple, our very first couple that we have invited to the podcast. So I believe you're going to enjoy the story time that we're going to have with them because it's actually going to be interesting. So we just want to request you to draw near and grab your cup of coffee and enjoy the video. So welcome, Ivy. Ivy is my friend. We were in the same campus with her. And Ivy, maybe, I don't know who will go first, but I want you to go first to introduce who this is. Yeah.
Thank you, Saline, and I'm glad that you are actually doing this. I think more of Kingdom Conversations are quite good in this day and era. So indeed, my name is Ivy Akini, and I am married to Matthias. Matthias is my husband of 14 years, and yeah, it's an
Husband of 14 years.
Yes.
Okay. So, like, who is Matthias? Like, what does he do? Tell us more about him. What is his personality like? Yeah.
I thought you'd ask him that.
Now to ask you. I want to know, like, how well do you know him? Tell us more about him.
Yeah, so Matthias is the man I'm married to. So I already said 14 years. He works as a teacher here in Kisumu. That's a bit of his professional background, and together we stay in Kisumu. Okay. We serve God in a local church called Life Celebration Ministries in Milimani. And alongside that, we are parents to 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. The eldest is turning 13 this year, and the youngest is turning 5. Yeah, 5 this year. So I would summarize this man as a man of God with a calm demeanor. I think
he's a very calm guy.
Yeah, I think I don't see another characteristic other than his knowing God that I would bring along, other than him being, he has a calm spirit.
Okay, what do you love about him?
I don't know if it's okay to say this as early as now, but I think I love his calm spirit because his calm spirit makes him be such a heavy sleeper. There are things that don't make him lose his sleep. A dog can bark and he doesn't hear.
doesn't get
you
easily
can have
bothered.
an issue, you're sorting, you think he should stay for an hour talking. He's sleeping and you're like, you're not agitated that I am agitated. Yeah. So I think his calmness is what stands out for me through these many years. He's just calm. Yeah.
Okay, maybe before Matthias takes over, I would want to understand, like, where did he grow up, like his school period, where does he come from? Tell us more.
Matthias comes from South Nyanza.
Okay.
Oyugi is quite specific. That is his roots. That's where, so in my culture, in Luo, we say he is Jakoyugi. Yeah. And so that's where he married me. In our culture, we say you are married to that place. So I think I am married to that place. He grew up, schooled in many other schools outside Oyugis, Rongo, I think, to be more precise. He went to Kanyawanga High School. I think anytime we are having a drive along that route, he wants us to know his high school. And then he went to University of Eldoret. That was his campus life. And yeah, he grew up with both parents. His father is a pastor, a retired pastor, of course, now. And his mother is the late. His mother was a primary school teacher who passed on an year into our marriage. That was 2013, I think so, yeah. And so he has, there are 6. So he has 5 siblings, there are 6. And he comes in third. He's the third born among 3 boys and 3 girls. So that's a summary of him.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction. So maybe over to you, Matthias. Please introduce Ivy. Who is Ivy?
No, it's a pleasure to introduce Ivy. Ivy, we've been married, as she has said, precisely for the last 14 years. Yeah, she's devoted. Yeah. Though in public ministry, but also what she does in her silent environment is quite a lot. Her devotion to God is something quite admirable. Yeah, I think I would say she prefers first as a priority building herself. And I think that has been quite outstanding about her. Yeah, she's also an academician. Yeah, with a specialty in the area of women health, more specifically cervical cancer, HPV related. That's what she did at her PhD, and presently she works at Jaramogi Oginga University of Science and Technology as a researcher. Yes, and doing quite a lot on that. Wow. Yeah, we have had a good time with her as a wife. Talking about her background, she grew up and schooled in different primary schools, I would say, because of the frequent transfers that happens to parents that determine where you stay. The father was a policeman, so with those changes, she ended up in a boarding school at an early age. By grade 4, she was already in class 4. She was already in a boarding school that's at Mirogi, where she did well. Those days there used to be the newspaper thing, so they are the few people who appeared in top 100. Yeah.
Okay.
Because of her outstanding work. Yeah. So that helped her join Limuru girls, or as they call themselves, Chogzerians. Yeah. Yeah. And finally proceeded to Kenyatta University, where she did a medical lab science. Then after that, she did a study at JUST for the masters. And finally, her PhD she did in Belgium. Yeah. But so it's been quite a good moment spending the last 14 years with her and just seeing life unfold. Yeah,
Wow.
sure.
That's awesome. Thank you for that introduction. Suppose you went to a supermarket and Ivy disappeared, like maybe you can't find her. Where do you think you can find her in a supermarket?
The clothes section.
The clothes section.
Definitely.
She loves clothes.
Yes.
Wow. Of course, all women do. I think I also love clothes. I have a weakness in that area. That's really good. Let's go now to the part, how did you guys meet?
Do we really need to narrate? But we met, we had so many instances of meeting. But when I was a third year in KU, the semester was ending and I had quite a lot of challenge, campus life, yeah. So I decided, it was around 27th of December, I decided to go to Destiny Thika. I don't know if you remember.
That prayer mountain, yeah.
Yeah, so I decided that let me go and cross over the year because, the semester ends when you have got nothing and even the transport back to Kisumu and it was just some life, campus life could be tough. So he had also finished university in Eldoret and he was in Nairobi looking for a job and so he also went to that same mountain. We were both there. So when you go to that place you register your name and where you come from. So me I wrote Ivy KU. So I think when he came he saw my name and he tried to say hi, but by then I was on my third day in prayer and you don't have a lot of energy for that kind of conversation. But he took note and we exchanged greetings just a little. So later on, I kept remembering, I would hear in KU, there was a group called NET. So I would hear people say that there was a Kesha that was coming up. And the guys would be like, this Kesha is going to be so good. We have the former chair, Net Mui is coming. I don't know, Pastor Hosea is coming. And they were mentioning people who in their perspective were very big people in that perspective. So only to learn that actually it was him. And he came and later he had a mission at their place in Oyugis. And because it's only him who could give the right direction. There were other sisters who could, but they couldn't explain. So he was given my number and he gave me the direction to the place. So while at this particular mission, he knocked his head on, you see those homes, the shags, they're very, they are a little shorter and he's taller. So he knocked and he had a cut. And because I had done medical lab, I decided to be a nurse. So I would wipe like this. But of course, at
that time, are you friends?
We are basic friends. We are basic sisters and brothers in the Lord. But silently in your heart, you feel something.
There's a connection.
Of course, later on, he's always said, during that mission, he had to tell his friends that, I am seeing this girl. But I think I also remember when I was wiping that head, I was thinking like, this is a little bit different. You feel like you're writing to someone you're a bit closer to, and but he hadn't said anything then. Of course, later on, he decided to propose. I think months later, like 6. And I was already in love. Those days when you're already in love,
I've been waiting for this for so long.
Waiting for this. And if you didn't, I would just be a strong girl and never say I was expectant. But there are things as a lady you can die with. One of them is, I was thinking this man could propose, but he did. So in my heart, I was this expectant that I hope he would really propose. And so when he did it in October, some months later, I am among the few who said yes the same day.
I know.
That's
the same
good.
day.
The same
It's a good thing. If you love, you show. You go for it.
She didn't tell me I'm going to pray.
She didn't tell you I'm going to, let me hear God first.
Like it was so obvious for me. I think I had settled and I was waiting.
Okay, that's nice. Is it the same story?
Precisely.
You
Probably
could
more
also
detailed.
probably this is more detailed, or you have a more detailed.
No, she has given it all the dimensions.
All the
So
dimensions.
just said we met and proposed. But she's
You'd be
gone
more
into
brief.
more details.
More details
the
about
meeting.
it. Okay. Okay, so let us go to the point where now you finished campus maybe earlier and you're looking for a job. Precisely, maybe you talk about that period of waiting. Yeah. How is it like? What were you doing during that time? You have gone to the prayer mountain. Is it a marriage you're trusting God for? Is it a job you're trusting God for? Or what takes you to the mountain?
Now, one, I had gone for prayers just to have myself established in God.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you are seeking direction, you're really not sure how it should turn.
True.
I needed guidance. I needed insight from God. And so I set apart that time to pray. And also, having left campus, you also hear of testimonies of people who are from before graduation, they are already in employment, and here you are, nothing is yet working out. You've also left campus, no relationship to talk about. And so it was a moment just to seek clarity with regard to career, with regard to the future, with regard to path of marriage.
Wow.
Yeah, so just building, getting deeper with God, and just getting clarity about God's will concerning my life, that really made me consider that.
Wow.
Actually, we should have gone with a friend of mine, but something came up in his schedule. So I just decided to proceed alone. And when we approach New Year, we want to really focus our mind on what God is going to do about the New Year. Yeah.
Wow, excellent. I love the part that you're saying you actually sought clarity in we seek clarity in the presence of God, which is a very good thing. Maybe if I could ask that now you have met on the mountain. What are those things that you feel were aligning you together? Like, are there things that maybe you are doing that you feel like, I think this is the right person? What are those signals that you looked up to, or either of you can go? What are those things that you looked up to and you said, I think now this is the right person? And as Ivy mentioned, you said when you were wiping the kidonda, you felt like there is something different about this guy, and you felt like there is a connection. So what are those things that you were looking for in a person that made you get convinced that this is the person, to an extent that when they proposed, you didn't have to go back to the mountain to give them an answer? No, maybe it's like
one, I would want to say that maybe the mountain per se was just an opportunity for our first meeting.
For your first meeting.
Yeah, but for the relationship, it was something that took a process. I'd been trusting God for one, a lady who is a believer, who is teachable, who you see a desire to learn from God and just grasp the spiritual truths. Yeah, so that was for me a real priority, and just humility. So I think in our interaction with her, the first incident when we interacted, she was not talking much about herself. Yeah, the fact that somebody can spare festive season and just set aside time to pray, and this a student, that touched me a bit. So when we met again, and here we are meeting in a mission, and I saw how she served. Yeah, a particular day it rained, the worship is on, she's leading worship. There is the move of God there. She knelt down as she led the worship, and it had rained with the mud, with the white skirt. Those are things that provoked me and really think, I think this,
Do you know that?
this is somebody committed to God. And on a few times we had conversation. Our conversation with her was one of seeking clarity. Maybe I shared on something from the word. She really wanted to know precisely what is this. So I saw that aspect of being somebody out to be taught, out to learn. And marriage being what it is, you'll want somebody with such an attitude, a desire to learn. Yeah, I think someone with a desire to learn is easier to stay with than someone who might be very mature but no desire to learn. So I felt that desire to learn, to be taught, was quite something that touched my heart.
Excellent. Not the know-it-all type of a person who is not teachable.
And it's an attitude she has sustained in the marriage. Yeah,
Wow.
quite.
Excellent. Ivy, was there anything different you were looking for?
I think, I had quite a chaotic background in my childhood. I don't know if chaotic is the right word, but not this kind of stable upbringing. So I think he was quite calm for me. I think he was quite calm. And you see, when you're serving with someone, even in missions, and there are people who know it all, very loud. He was very calm. I remember once I was a leader in the center, and I asked people to volunteer to wash utensils. And this was a whole former chair, so I thought he couldn't agree, and he did. And then I used to admire his height. Yeah, because I am a little shorter. And wakati when I was wiping his head, I realized I would reach somewhere here. So there are those things in a lady that you usually feel like, I think he covers me so well. He embraces me so well. And then he was dark.
Tall and handsome.
I'm not adding those.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think he mirrored a darkness. It wasn't the priority, but there are some of the things that I still remember. I would keep staring with this other eye and looking at him. But overall, I truly loved his calmness and just agreeing to wash things like utensils in a mission. And maybe you're the one leading and being able to, and not feeling like I am big. There are many first years or second years here we should do that. I think that made me feel he would care for.
Wow, that's so excellent, because you're someone out there, you're wondering, like, you can actually be healed by your partner, because I'm looking at the part you're saying that you had a chaotic background, so you're looking for at least that calmness. You don't want another chaotic person, a loud person, you see. So it actually helps to heal your background. It helps to heal the younger you, so that your personality is able to come out the right way. That's nice. So thank you for that. Maybe I'll just move to now. From the introductions, we all know that you're people who fear the Lord. Yeah, and you handle your marriage, or you handle your home according to the precepts of Christ. So maybe if I would ask that, what is since you got married, what is the toughest moment, the most trying moment that you have encountered, and how did you handle it in your marriage?
This be in terms of conflict or in terms of life challenges?
It could be life challenges, it could be conflict. So you could choose any example to go for. So I would start with you, then I go to.
I think life challenges are the most tough, because they come unexpectedly. And you have to walk with your partner.
Yeah.
And we have had, like any other couple, we have had challenges could be financial, things are not working out. I think another incident we had is when he was suddenly arrested by the police, and you have less than 24 hours to get him out, and no money, and you are there alone. And that's how during tough times, the whole world seems to be very far, and you are the two of you. And I would want to say something that I think has walked us through life turbulent moments. I think including the delivery of our third-born son, when he completely failed to respond, and I would say he was clinically dead from a medical perspective. I think I told you that my husband is so calm that he can sleep.
He can sleep in the midst of chaos.
Even when you tell him, those people have written a message, they need this money today, he will sleep from 9. The only difference is he will wake up at 3 to pray. But it will not, a dog will bark in the night. You know me, by that time I am so much attentive. Even if someone holds the door, I can feel, even if it's just a dog or a cat, because my mind is ruminating. But he is able to sleep through storms. And one of the statements he keeps saying is that God is faithful, and believing God's word against all hope. I think it's the greatest thing for us in turbulent seasons of life. And believing in the covenant of our marriage. Just like I told you, even when he was arrested for something I already told him. No, I think I could say this here. It was during the Matiang'i period, and Matiang'i had said no tuition. And that morning I tell him, don't go, don't go for tuition. And I was jobless by that time. So his job was like all we were depending on. And I tell him, don't go. But he felt like, naenda tu narudi saa sita. Okay, so he went. And when he went, I was at church. And then I had a phone call. And the phone call was like, before he even talked, I just asked him, because I heard the background was not normal. And I asked him, could what I had told you not to do happened? And he told me, yes, I am at Kondele. I think I didn't do anything. I just finished doing what I was doing in church and said, because I knew that was going to be a long journey ahead. And because Matiang'i was quite tough. And yeah. Of course, finally God walked us through, and I saw God walk him through by prayer. Because one, he was going to face probably an interdiction or maybe something. But I saw him trust God. Trust God literally and tell God, this is what happened. In fact, that day he wasn't even doing the tuition itself. He had gone to deliver a paper to one of the students, I think, because already it had already been announced. But I think because you have continuing business, he felt like, let me just go and do this. And he was actually coming out by the time he was being arrested. He had actually left the scene, the place. And it's someone along the way who said, this one must also have been there. And I saw when he came back home, I remember he sat all of us with the children, and a lady who was there, and he said, this is what has happened, and trust God with me. You see, God's mercy never runs out, even when it's you who's done the mistake. And I saw him admit that, this is what has happened, and we need to walk through this, because if not, it's an interdiction. If not, things would have culminated. And interdiction, we were staying in a school, in the schoolhouse. We were not paying rent. So our life would have changed in less than 48 hours. Interdiction, moving out of the house, and life begins all over again. And I saw him walk through that prayerfully. That night he slept, woke up to pray. And I would recite miracles we saw. There are things you trust God for, but there is one, I think, one example we saw is when he was released from Kondele to appear in court the next day, he was given a cash bail. And this cash bail is what he was supposed to present in court. This cash bail he placed inside a bag. But when he was alighting, he forgot the bag in these Kondele mats and came home. He
Okay.
came back with me. It was in the evening. We started waiting for cars because we didn't even have another money to pay. So this cash bill receipt was all we had. Suddenly we looked the whole evening. We even
Can you
came
even
to
tell which matatu
we
you
were now
had
just
used?
by, we just started look like this. So we went home. Do you know, in the morning, after he had prayed, trusted God for that bag, he took a tuk-tuk to come to town. Would you believe that immediately he was getting to town, he looked ahead and saw the vehicle with the mat that had the bag in front. So he just came from this tuk-tuk from Nyamasaria side and got into this matatu and pretended to be a passenger. Then he told the driver, "This is my bag."
That's a miracle.
We saw God. Even how the case finally ended, we, no bribing, trusting God. He kept his word to appear in court as it was scheduled. It's TSU who are not sending representative. And finally the judge just said, "No, there's no case here." So I would say life turbulent has been the toughest things, but I think consistency in believing God has walked us through.
Believing in your covenant of marriage as well, and also working as a team, if I can hear you well.
Yes.
Awesome. Yes. Pastor Matthias. What would you say has been the toughest time in your marriage, and how have you handled such?
I think for me the toughest time came in our initial years of marriage. I had my mom. Of course, we were a bit close, because we spent most of our childhood days together. So she was diagnosed with cancer, and it was quite aggressive. So in those initial months, she was not able to attend our wedding because she was under palliative care by that time. So after our marriage, she had to step because we needed somebody to attend to her. So I think that was the first time, newly married, but some months away from each other, because she decided to go home and take care of her. Then the efforts didn't yield what we expected. Then she passes on in our first year of marriage. I think that was quite a difficult time. But I'm glad by then she was already in my life. And she really became a true source of comfort. She stood by me. I think after the death, I also fell sick, admitted, and the rest. But she was really available in my life. I think I had not had that, except what maybe I would have received from my mom then. So that time, a commitment, because then she had challenged that she was also adjusting to the pregnancy. And pregnancy for her is not always a good journey. With the changes, there are people who, for them, pregnancy is just something normal. They can even go 3 months and they don't realize they are.
I know.
But with her, the first few weeks, the announcement is very loud.
It's loud.
So standing by me in that kind of condition, that kind of environment in my life, really.
True.
So a commitment to me was very loud, not backing off at such a time of need. I think that has been a time of greatest challenge, that she really stood by just to ensure I'm here to give support, despite my feeling, the changes in me.
Wow. Okay, so what I'm learning is that in terms of challenges, we are a team. We are not against one another. It's us against the world. And with that, because from what Ivy is saying, it is teaming up together and working together that has helped. And from what you're saying, she has been available. She has been there for you. So that teamwork actually, I think, really, really works. If you know that even if I'm in trouble, even if I'm arrested by the police, my wife will not come to start criticizing me and leave or disappear, but she'll always be here. Wow.
Even when the mistake is obvious.
Is obvious.
We'll just sort it at that level, then we'll talk about our mistake and say, Hapa, no, Hapa, there is something you didn't do right.
You didn't do right.
Yeah, but at the point where the issue happens, we support each other just to focus on God's mercy.
On God's mercy. That's really nice. Thank you so much. You have also mentioned about, sorry for the loss of your mom. I know that must have been a very trying moment during that time. You have also mentioned that during that time she had gone to take care of your mom, that distance. And also you mentioned at the point of introduction, you mentioned that she did her PhD in Belgium. Maybe we want to speak to somebody who is in a long distance relationship. I know it is, at least you have tested what distance means in a relationship, and maybe you could speak to somebody like, how did you handle that situation, and what are those challenges that you experience in a long distance? Like, your husband is somewhere, you know he's not coming tomorrow, he's far apart, or your wife is somewhere, you know he's not coming anytime soon, maybe until maybe the assignment is done or something. How, as Christian, in a Christian home, how would you handle it? Or how have you been able to handle such a situation successfully? Yeah.
She was away in Belgium for 2 months, another year again for several weeks. Yeah, but I think principally in our present times, there are gender roles that we might need to think about much better, because we are coming from a background where men went out to the field, women remained at home. But presently, we are all in career world. Actually, relying on one income is becoming increasingly difficult. We live in a time where if we have a family, the pressures will put a demand that both of you should get something to do. So I think if a man is going out to work, a lady is going out to work, in the present time we should build an attitude where, yes, if she also goes into work, she can also come back as tired as me, so we can partner together in making work at home bearable to one another. So when that is built over time, then it means a man becomes familiar with a few of the activities being done at home. And I think that was quite helpful to me. So when she traveled for the 2 months, in the first 3 months, we still didn't have a baby. So it was like just part of continuity of singlehood. Of course, she would instruct me to do this, do this. She would organize, come back in a while, set up clothes and the rest, and ensure things were orderly. Even for the period she was away for the 2 months, she was in touch to really ensure there's an helping hand at home. Things are done how she would want to do. But it wasn't such a burden to me because I was already familiar with things like washing babies, because in building up our marriage, to find what to support her in when we are back in the evening, I will easily pick that as an alternative as she fixes dinner. So it's a life I'd gotten used to a bit, so it was not such a shock. But of course, her absence was quite loud in the house. Yeah, coming back to an empty bed and you're not used to it. Those were a few of the challenges. But I think when we grow together, build a marriage together, then moments where one or another thing can separate us do not much displace us. But it begins with a change of mindset. If I go with a traditional mindset, I'll hurt big time. But if I walk into marriage with a flexible mind, with a background where we have built working relationship that build trust, then it's an easier season to walk through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. How is taking care of children when she's not around? Especially, you have mentioned that it's about change of mindset. So now your mindset is already changed. Now let's come now to the reality of my mind is changed. I feel like I should wash the children, get them ready for school. Did it take a toll on you, or with the change of mindset, you just get in line?
I think not much, because we've worked with a day scholar ourselves all along. So it means in the evening and in the morning, we've always been doing work together. So it's a territory I was familiar with.
Wow.
So even this period when she was away, we still worked with a day scholar. So there is what she does, there's what I have just certainly to do. Get the babies to sleep, wake up in the morning, prepare them, because they leave for school before the day scholar arrives.
Yeah.
So it's something I've been doing. Then I think in this final season, I also got an opportunity to move away from a boarding school to a day school. So it became more manageable and easy, because in a day school, around 7:30 is when you are expected to school. By about 5, you are done with school. So I would be available and present to support through. Yeah, so it's been quite manageable. So besides the attitude, the willingness to keep. I think if I was to start it when she was away, it could have been burdensome. So I will encourage, we better start early, get involved in sharing the burdens of the house. It does not make us a lesser man. I grew up not seeing my father step into kitchen, handle any house, or touching utensils or mopping. But now I'm a husband, and you discover I can't be my father in my marriage. So when you start it quite early, from the onset, before such challenges come up, then you are more prepared.
Wow.
But if you want to begin it when it happens, you'll do it with a lot of pain and grudging.
Yeah, I know of such, especially when the lady gets an opportunity maybe to do their further studies out of the country, the man will be like, who will take care of the children? Who will take care of the home?
Sorry, I wanted to do a disclaimer still.
Yes.
That one, considering long distance marriage should be such a delicate decision.
It is.
It must depend on the maturity of the couple and not really on the job factor only. Not every couple can handle long distance marriage.
Yeah.
For instance, you see a couple that has wedded today, and the husband is flying out to US tomorrow. Even if they're as madly in love as they want, the couple hasn't attained. There are things that are built over time. One is security, believing that he is mine and mine alone. Those are things that we can't build by being apart. It takes us growing. We beat each other in the house in terms of displaying our dissatisfactions, and then ultimately, so I think, one, let's make effort as much as we are able to stay together. Let's trust God for jobs that keep us together. Let's trust God to keep bringing us together. Nevertheless, if a circumstance arises, I think look at the maturity of the couple. You yourself, there are things we can't hide. If, for instance, we are still arguing about him taking the house help.
I know.
And then I decide to go to Belgium for 1 year. Honestly, even me, by the time I'm going, I know very well that my husband is not trustworthy. Because if already in our daily routine life now, he's like, mbona ongelesha house jikoni. If already, the maturity of a couple, by the time you're settling for some things, you should be able to be settled. And maturity comes as you age, as you trust God for your marriage, as you fight over small things,
get to understand
and get to understand. And he tells you that, sweetheart, you're mine and mine alone. And your confidence keep growing, and you get convinced, I am the one. So that by the time you are in Europe, you're not asking someone to check if he greeted the house help in the morning. So I think for me, the world and the demand is so much that we have to work, but constantly I keep trusting God to stay close to my husband, not because of any other thing, but because of companionship. Truly,
And that is amazing.
life is already outside here. I would want to come back to my husband and children. Nevertheless, if by virtue of work, it's something, and it's something we should talk about, express our insecurities without me feeling judged, like telling him, I'm going to Europe, but of late I feel you are staying so much in church. You know, those are things, those are insecurities that I should tell him, and I shouldn't feel like he shouldn't feel
Judge.
I am being babyish,
Too clingy.
or I don't want him to serve God.
Yeah.
If I tell him I feel if you talk with X, Y, Z, I'm not very comfortable, he shouldn't tell me you are being insecure. He should actually tell me how or what can I do.
Yeah, what can I do?
Yes, I think for me the summary of it all is let a couple grow. Long distance is not. It's not God's preferred choice. It's world design. It's the world pushing us to that.
Yes.
But God wants us to enjoy the Adam and Eve thing. We are together in the garden, and the Lord passes by to fellowship with us. That's what God would want.
True.
Maybe just to add, now that she has raised it, initially she had the offer to be away for 6 months. And she came and told me, this scholarship demands I be away for 6 months. But could we pick it up and pray about it?
True.
Yeah, and through praying about it, that's when we got the possibility of how it can work by being away for 2 months, breaking it up. Yeah, so I think if she was not keen to us, for us to pick it in prayer, we could have just accepted the 6 months and say, it's the demands of the scholarship. But you see, when she picked it up in prayer, we got more options which were family friendly. So I agree with her that a family should stay together and make effort that be what is possible.
True. I understand that part, by the way. A family, it is God's design, because the Bible says that the two become one. So the two becoming one is broad. Yeah, even distance creates, especially if you've not known one another, as you were saying, that you were just 1 month into the marriage and that person travels maybe out of the country and there is distance apart. You've not known how this person reacts when you say that, why didn't you call? Why didn't you pick up? Because if you have learned one another for so long, you know that this person didn't actually mean bad by saying, why didn't you pick up? At some point it can sound nagging, especially if it is sent in a text message. So it's that security, and security you only get by being together for long. Maturity you get along the way. Yeah, because sometimes you don't get married mature at that point.
Apart from thinking, even the sexual prowess of your husband, it's something that grows and you learn.
And you learn.
Not every man is able to sincerely keep themselves for 3 months.
I know.
Let me not say not every man. Most men, or all men, their sexual need is when he hits a month, he's dying. And it's something that only comes when you are able to talk and you have already grown to each other and like, I am going for a month. Is it too heavy for you? Because when I have gone there for 3 months, the best you can do is chit chat and do whatever we are doing, but you could be having someone else. But it only comes through being able to talk and say, are you feeling you're managing?
Are you okay?
Are you okay? And keep remembering these are things that will grow through the years. You know, and him being able, and you know, you can study the sexual patterns of your husband. You see how he behaves in 1 week when you're away, and you realize, if this is how you behave in 1 week, how will you behave in 3 months? So that it's something that for me I think grows. It's not something that you feel, no, me, my husband, we can stay 6 months and it's okay. I think it is something we grow. You learn him, you toe down, you say, 1 year is so much for him, or you decide because it's compulsory, it's 1 year, you really need to trust God. So that by the time you're going, you have already trusted your sexual life to God. You know, the Bible says that God is the strength of my life. When the Bible says God is the strength of my life, it means it's my financial strength, my emotional strength, my sexual strength, and everything my strength. So He can give you grace. Yeah. So by the time it reaches there, we have grown and talked through it. Yeah.
Wow. Now, maybe coming to the end of our conversation, I think this has been very, very insightful, and we have gotten so much information. And by the way, to somebody out there listening, marriage works, regardless of the distance. They have shown us that they have actually gone through distance. They have trusted God with it. God has provided grace, and it is possible that still God can provide grace in such cases. We've talked about house chores, the home roles, the traditional home roles that were meant for women, and those men who will not be willing to release their women or their wives to pursue their career, even when there is an opportunity, a glaring opportunity that has presented themselves. And we have learned that it is possible for the men to take care of the home if they have that change of mindset. Maybe as we're finishing, I just want you to speak to maybe somebody out there that maybe they're struggling in their marriage, or they have hit the rock bottom, maybe in terms of finances, the long distance relationship, or any other challenge that might surround a marriage. What would you want to say to them? Yeah.
I want to encourage you that in life we will face challenges, but God gave us an opportunity for partnering with Him so that things will really work.
Yes.
So when we count on partnership with God, prayer changes things.
Wow.
Even where you feel this is our own making, God is so merciful. We take to Him our mistakes and honestly talk to Him about Him and say, here I have failed. And He will pick it up and fix the mess. And the beautiful thing is, He says, when He deals with us, our sins and lawless deeds, He remembers no more. He forgives without record. So in marriage, we must be confident to walk to God with our messes boldly and say, God, here it is. Because even when we hide it from Him, He knows it all. So let's be bold, involve God in marriage, and for sure He will help marriage work. Even on the things we've talked about, it will take trusting God, calling on Him, telling Him, God, we are stranded with this decision. We see the only possibility of a job is far away from home. How do we go about it? Commit that to God. And who knows, when we are patient before Him, He can definitely open another door. And make a way where there seems to be no way. We have not because we don't ask. Thank you.
Thank you. Ivy, would you want to say something?
I think for me, I would encourage a couple to esteem the covenant they made to each other. God is a covenant confirming God, not a covenant breaking God. If you have chosen to say yes to a man, or a man to say yes to you, consider to walk the journey of marriage selflessly with each other. Be patient with each other. Marriage, just like life, is a journey. The things we used to fight about, we no longer fight about, including when we were coming for this podcast. He was dry, he came late. The kind of offense I used to have, if you would have arrived late in our first year of marriage, I would be here very sad, or I would have something. But we grow. It no longer stings, because our characters grow. I finally want to also encourage a couple that conflict happens for some two reasons. One is when our character rub towards each other, but some conflict at satanic attack. So be careful. Sometimes you may be fighting your spouse, but you're fighting the devil. So go for each other and be the winning team.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Until next time, we really appreciate you for your time. And if you're here up to this moment, we really, really appreciate you being here. Please just hit on the subscribe button so that you're able to see more of our videos. And if you won't do that, you might be seeing us for the last time. So if you want to see us more, please hit the subscribe button. Share this video with somebody you think needs this video. And share your comments. We want to hear from you. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye. This is Kingdom Conversation, a place where we talk about God. This is a place we encourage you. We give you real life stories. We do not present perfection to you, but we take you through the journey of becoming, the journey of finding your purpose.
God has called us in different areas of life. We will be looking at how we make it work so that we are not burnt out.
In our conversation, we are going to emphasize on those people who are meant to become and also to serve. Yeah.